You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Coming up, we'll meet a woman who biked 10,000 miles with monarch butterflies.
Also, we covered it as part of our Morning Talker yesterday, but now we're giving you the update on if NASA succeeded in its mission to move an asteroid.
And we are tracking calm weather locally, but we've got more on Hurricane Ian as it's a strong Category 3 hurricane over western Cuba. The latest updates on Ian and our local forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Flu season is just around the corner, kicking off in October, and the Newton County Health Department has only 1 case of flu reported so far. That's because many of the precautions we took to protect against COVID also protected us from the flu. And officials recommend taking the flu vaccine in October as it gives about a 6-month coverage, but also has time to kick in before more cases appear. People can take both a COVID booster and the flu vaccine on the same day.
The last couple of years been very minimal, but then in some years the flu takes off and we have hundreds of people. So it's very hard to determine until that season kicks in and gets to going, which is right around the corner.
The Newton County Health Department hopes to have flu vaccines in about a week, but some pharmacies already have them available. The Joplin Health Department says they also have vaccines available now. Well, some Pitt State students got a chance to meet with real professionals on Monday. The students met with the Joplin Tri-State Institute of Management Accountants chapter. They offer continuing education, networking opportunities, and professional development.
I really hope that they walk away with an idea of really what management accounting is about, and then the opportunities. There's some certifications that you can get through the IMA, so just exposure to that. There's scholarships that we can help provide, so really just exposure so that they know what resources are out there.
The meet and greet was part of Pitt State's Student Night. Well, Pitt State hosts a guest with a unique story. Sarah Dykeman followed the entire 10,201-mile migration route of monarch butterflies on her bicycle. She's the first person to do that, and yesterday she stopped at PSU to share her story.
If people are looking for an adventure, I think following the monarchs is a great way to do it, and one of the beautiful things is you don't have to go thousands of miles. Like literally a trip to the park right now in Pittsburgh is when the monarchs are migrating, so you're biking with butterflies when you go to the park.
Dykeman also wrote a book about the journey. Well, getting a new officer on the police force is typically welcome news to a community, and it's a little sweeter when that new officer is a K-9. Southwest City Police Department announced its new K-9 officer, Rocco. And Rocco is a special addition to the force because he is the city's first K-9.
Traffic in and out of other states. We have a lot of drug traffic come through our community, and that'll be main port. He's also going to be trained in tracking. He's not quite there yet. He is on suspect apprehension, so if we have a runner, he's the fastest one in the crew.
Businesses and private citizens raised more than $21,000 to help bring in Rocco and train a handler. I bet he's faster than you, Chris.
I have no doubt that he is. Many things and many people are faster than I am. We've got a lot to talk about in weather, but first, as is tradition, we begin with what happened on this day in weather history. Going back to 1936, an early season snowstorm buried Denver, Colorado in snow. There was a storm total of 21.3 inches that fell at the Denver airport in 60 hours. That is a lot of snow, and that is not what we're going to be experiencing anytime soon here. We are still watching Category 3 Hurricane Ian, the eye right over western Cuba right now as it prepares to re-enter warm tropical waters into the Gulf of Mexico. We have hurricane warnings from Tampa to Fort Myers. This dark red area is tropical storm warnings for a good chunk of the Florida Panhandle. And this is the latest on Ian. Still a strong Category 3 hurricane at 125 miles an hour. By the way, at 130, it becomes a Category 4, which is exactly what it is expected to do as it re-enters the warm waters and into the Gulf of Mexico. Its track still has it right on course for Tampa, Florida. It is expected to intensify to a Category 4 later today, and then hold on to that and be a Category 3 by early Thursday morning. Now, this is our time So 3:30 Central Time as it plows right into Tampa, the first major hurricane to hit Tampa head on in 100 years. In our area, we've got a beautiful sunrise. We have fall-like weather, fall-like temperatures at least. 52 degrees in Joplin right now. So got some good temperatures out there. 58 Center, Chanute, and Parsons. 49 Iola, 46 Fort Scott, 51 Carthage, and 53 in Neosho. Today, though, going to be unseasonably warm. This is where the forecast gets a little flip-floppy. We've got 87 for an afternoon high, so that's much warmer than where we should be under mostly sunny skies. Heading into tonight, we're mostly clear, but our low is on par for what it should be this time of year, as we'll drop back to 53 degrees. And on the 7-day forecast, we need rain, but there is none in this. We stay dry. We stay mostly clear just about all week long. 77 Wednesday, 78 on Thursday. Otherwise, we're in the lower to mid 80s for afternoon highs, so unseasonably warm even Wednesday and Thursday. But our overnight lows right about where they should be, upper 40s to lower 50s. We are looking at some possible rain chances by Tuesday. We're hopeful those chances increase. If anything, our temperatures in the afternoon definitely get much more fall-like as they drop back into the lower 70s.
All right, well, up next, we'll have how doctors are coming together to tell parents about the effects of marijuana on the mental health of youth.
And later, from a 19th century activist to a former First Lady, we'll have who was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame last Saturday. You are watching the KOAM Morning News right here on Fox 14.
In Health Watch this morning, doctors are coming together to inform parents about the risk marijuana could have on a young person's mental health, saying use of the drug by those with mental illness could exacerbate their condition. Alani Latang has more.
I treat patients who suffer from cannabis use disorder.
We want to make sure that parents and youth are making informed decisions and understand the risks.
Doctors laying out the relationship between marijuana use and youth mental health. They warn cannabis use is a suicide risk factor for people under the age of 25, adding that cannabis use disorder and daily cannabis use were associated with suicidal thoughts, plans, or attempts in people 18 to 35 years old with or without underlying major depression. The FDA is slapping on a warning for people with psychiatric history to avoid even prescription-level THC.
People who have a mental illness can exacerbate their condition by using THC.
Experts warn that THC is also getting stronger. The Department of Justice found that the average potency level in marijuana has increased from 8.9% to 17.1% between 2008 to 2017. One parent taking notice of that for his oldest son.
It's often the start of a descent into a living hell.
The parent says his son got a pilot's license at 17, had academic goals, but quickly became addicted to vaping.
And then things got worse. He abandoned college after one semester, moved back home, smoked nonstop, alienated himself from his friends, spent all his money and much of ours, and became truly psychotic.
Doctors warn the high-potency THC out there is a risk factor for developing psychosis in youth.
And it can become permanent, even in young people who have no underlying mental illness.
Experts also advise not to shy away from substance use conversations, to instead have the discussion early and often with youth.
To be honest and open with your healthcare provider, if you do suspect use and your child is having a mental health issue, it's really important to have that conversation. Don't think that you're weird.
Our son is slowly getting better. Despite 9 months without weed and the same time working a full-time job.
Experts say more research is still needed.
We've got an absolutely beautiful day lined up for us today. Lovely sunrise in Joplin, but we're going to be unseasonably warm. We're going to take a look at our full forecast and have the latest on Hurricane Ian when we come back. A NASA spacecraft met its end on Monday in a first-of-its-kind mission to crash into an asteroid. Madeline Rivera reports on the technique that NASA hopes could be used if a giant space rock ever does threaten the planet.
We got it. This was the moment NASA had been waiting for.
And we have impact.
A spacecraft transmitting its last few images before crashing into an asteroid, fulfilling its mission after a 10-month journey through space.
We are taking our spacecraft and hitting an asteroid to change its trajectory.
The operation is the first of its kind in the world. It's called DART, which stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test. And the target? A double asteroid system about 7 million miles away, which thankfully, unlike the movie Armageddon, poses no danger to Earth. The DART spacecraft slammed into a moon orbiting a larger space rock.
Our target, Dimorphos, that is roughly the size of a pyramid. So you can imagine we're sending a smart car to hit a pyramid.
But the end of the DART spacecraft,
we are so excited to be done.
only marks the beginning for NASA, as they now observe the impact of the impact.
That's really what we're going to learn in the next weeks to come. All right, we hit this asteroid. Now, how effective was that at deflecting it, and what would that mean for using it?
A collision that could change the course of planetary defense.
We do not have any techniques in our pocket right now if an asteroid was heading to Earth. After tonight, we will have a viable technique.
The mission cost roughly $330 million, well below many of NASA's science operations. In Washington, Martha Rivera, Fox News.
All right, latest on Hurricane Ian, Category 3, a strong Category 3 hurricane over western Cuba with winds of 125 miles an hour as of the 7 a.m. our time advisory. And it is still on track to re-enter the Gulf and intensify to a Category 4 here today, and then make a direct path for Tampa, where it should make landfall as a Category 3 hurricane. The first time in 100 years that Tampa's been had a direct hit from a major hurricane. Locally, we are calm, we are clear, 52 degrees in Joplin with a few clouds out there. We've got 49 Iola, 46 Fort Scott, 47 Pittsburgh, 51 Miami, and 53 in Neosho as we start the day. As we go through the day, very unseasonably warm, 87 degrees, mostly sunny. And tonight we stay mostly clear, but our low much more seasonable, 53. And the 7-day forecast shows where we stay dry and clear all week long. 77 Wednesday, 78 Thursday, otherwise lower to mid 80s for afternoon highs, so very warm. But overnight lows right on track as they get into the upper 40s and lower 50s. We're back after this.
It's time to honor today's four-state hero, Winton Kelsey. A native of Minden Mines, Missouri, served in the Pacific from 1945 to 1946 on board the USS Arlington and the USS Sabine. He also earned the Asiatic Pacific Victory Medal. To Winton Kelsey, we thank you, today's four-state hero.
From a 19th century activist to a former First Lady, last Saturday saw 9 women inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame.
Sam Carter has more on their stories.
From a 19th century activist to a former First Lady, the 9 women inducted today into the National Women's Hall of Fame in Seneca Falls all left their mark on history. One of the women inducted, Rebecca Howland, who was the first woman in U.S. military history to command combat at a strategic level. For her, the hall connects generations of women to what's possible.
Young girls can come through here and they can see all the different walks of life, and they're going to connect. Maybe it's to art, maybe it's to sports. And then they're going to see how that path connected us all.
After today's ceremony, there are now 312 women in the Hall of Fame. One of those receiving the honor today was former First Lady Michelle Obama. In a recorded acceptance speech, she credited the community around her for making all she's accomplished attainable.
From a very young age, these women taught me that I mattered, that I was never just a little girl or just a child. I was always someone special in my own right. Someone with a big heart and a big brain. Someone who had value. Someone limited only by her own imagination for herself.
One of the women presenting today was former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Today, Clinton reflected on the current struggles women face and what needs to be done.
It saddens and yes, it angers me that my granddaughter, Charlotte, may grow up in a world where she has fewer rights than my daughter, Chelsea. But that also motivates me to keep going, keep fighting, keep speaking out and standing up. And I know I'm in good company, not only with the inductees, but with all of you.
Certainly some incredible honors and well deserved.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sure.
All
we've got
9 of them, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So we are still tracking Hurricane Ian, strong Category 3 hurricane. We say strong because the winds are at 125 miles an hour as of the 7 a.m. hour time advisory, and at 130 is when it becomes a Category 4 storm, which is what is expected to do as it moves off of western Cuba and into the Gulf of Mexico. And it is still on course to hit Tampa Bay, or Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, that whole area head on. Expected to make landfall as a Category 3 hurricane. Winds of 120 miles an hour or greater and gusts at 150 or greater. Now for us, we have considerably calmer weather. We've got a beautiful sunrise at 7th and Range Line. Sun's a little shy, hiding behind these trees, but it is there. And we are very fall-like as we start the day. 52 in Joplin with a few clouds out there. We are at 44 Fort Scott, 48 Pittsburgh, 52 Miami, and 46 in Anderson as we start the day. Allergy sufferers, good news. Numbers are still down. We're looking at a 5.7 out of 12 on the pollen count today. Up a wee bit, 5.9 out of 12 for tomorrow, but forecast to go down as we head through the rest of the week. The one thing not forecast to go down is our temperatures, at least not right away. Unseasonably warm is the best way to describe this. Mostly sunny. 87 degrees is our afternoon high. As you can see, we'll be pretty mild through most of the day. Then we head into tonight, and our low is seasonable as it'll drop back down to 53 with mostly clear skies ahead of us. The future track has absolutely nothing to show us for the next several days. Some stray shower chances out in Kansas, and that's really about it. It's not until we get into next week around Tuesday that we've got a chance of maybe some showers and possibly a rumble of thunder, which we'll take a look at on the 10-day forecast. So the 7-day, we are unseasonably warm. Even tomorrow and Thursday, 77, 78, still warmer than where we should be. Lower to mid-80s all the way through the weekend, start of next week. Mostly clear skies. Lows are on track, upper 40s, lower 50s. As we head into the start of next week, get some slight rain chances Tuesday. We're hopeful that that increases. 72 though, so we get back to seasonable temperatures Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we see another warm up by the end of the week. We're back with more after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:26. A 2-car crash in Crawford County claims the life of a Missouri man. Authorities respond to a crash Saturday just 2 miles north of K126. They say Edward Nutt was driving east on East 570th Avenue north of K126 when he ran a stop sign and hit a car driven by 19-year-old Rigby Bourne of Girard. Nutt died at the scene, and Bourne had serious injuries. One man is dead following a crash in Berry County, Missouri. Authorities say 53-year-old Dale Roller of Cassville was driving on Highway 76 in Cassville when he crossed the center line and struck another car head-on. He died at the scene. Missouri House Speaker is urging the U.S. Attorney in Kansas City to shut down a gate boarding school, accusing the Christian school of, quote, what amounts to organized crime against children. Republican Rob Vescovo sent a letter to U.S. Attorney Teresa Moore. Vescovo wrote that state efforts to close the school have failed, and the local prosecutor has failed to take action to protect the boys who attend the school in Stockton. He says the situation is more far-reaching and contains more deeply rooted corruption than we're able to address solely at the state level. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt's office accused the school of allowing someone on the state registry for child and abuse and neglect to work there and alleged systemic abuse. Well, 70 high school students from 5 area schools are on the campus of Crowder College to get tested for tuberculosis. Access Family Care's mobile unit partners with the college to make it more accessible for the students to get tested and not have to go off campus. Any student who will take clinicians classes is required to get the test. The students are in the health science program through Del Reed Technical Education Center.
It's just a way that we can partner with the community and just serve those that are the next generation of healthcare professionals.
According to an Access Family Care nurse, tuberculosis often impacts low-income populations. Well, KOAM is always looking to hear from aspiring journalists, so we are continuing a program where we air stories shot, written, and edited by local students. This next story comes from Joplin High School. An important part of the high school experience is taking part in extracurriculars, and many have no idea what is actually available to them. Jet HD's Andrew Myers explains how Club Fest helped students find their passions.
A few hundred students packed the Kaminsky Gym, all looking for students who share a common interest:
They attended Club Fest, and William Keskemethy, a teacher here at Joplin High School, hosts the Jam Club, where they rock out after school. He explains how important it really is.
Joplin High School probably has the widest array of after-school activities of anywhere in the 4 states, and we really like students to take advantage of it. It's been instrumental in getting a lot of students familiar with Jam Club. You know, a lot of students are really busy. There's so much stuff going on.
Elijah Neville, a senior at JHS and part of the Philanthropic Society, explained what Club Fest means to him.
So I feel like a lot of time people have hard times finding a club where they might, be comfortable or enjoy themselves or do something like giving back to the community. And this gives them an opportunity to not just see the clubs that are here at the high school and maybe get an idea of what they might be, but also to talk to people that are in the clubs. And maybe if you have friends in the club or if the people in there, really sell it and make it sound exciting, that makes it a lot easier for students to get involved.
As well, Dayton Watkins, who is also a senior at JHS and a member of the JROTC, believes the fest does wonders in getting people involved.
It allows us to recruit a bunch of people just randomly. There's all these kids coming by. It's easy to recruit everybody. Our program actually has been lowering an amount of people that we got, but Club Fest recently I've even recruited 4 people already, which is helping our program a lot, substantially.
Whatever your interest, there's probably a club for you. If not, you could create it next year. Reporting for Jet HD, this is Andrew Myers.
Nice job, Andrew. Again, thanks to Joplin High School student Andrew Myers for that report.
I remember being in Jet 14 back in the day when it first launched, so it's certainly an exciting program. And I remember Club Fest, of course, and I remember Mr. Keskemethy. I didn't have him, but I remember him, and he was a very cool guy.
Bringing back a lot of memories for Chris this morning.
Certainly was. Not the same high school I went to, of course, but still a lot of memories there.
All right, well, this morning we're discussing fall allergies.
So fall, of course, means pumpkins, apples, leaves changing color, and unfortunately, seasonal allergies.
Now, seasonal allergies typically mean a stuffy or runny nose, itchy, watery eyes, and sneezing.
Seasonal allergy sufferers can try some different remedies like over-the-counter treatments, an allergy shot, or you just try and avoid whatever triggers the allergies. That brings us to our question for you this morning. Do you suffer from allergies? 89% of you say you do. 11% of you say you do not. I'm in the do not. You're in the do not. But we have some family and friends that are definitely in the yes category, for sure. Make sure you vote in our through the website, in our app, and take part in the discussion. Maybe share your allergy tips on our Facebook page. Now,
all right.
We got a quick check of the forecast for you. Take a look. This is Hurricane Ian. As you can see, if you look close enough, the eye is just starting to edge off of western Cuba. Right there, just barely starting to take off from Cuba and enter the Gulf of Mexico, and it is expected to become a Category 4 hurricane later today. Strong Category 3 now. Hurricane warnings from Tampa to Fort Myers, tropical storm warnings for a good chunk of the Florida Panhandle. And if you take a look, I mean, that eye very well defined. This is a big storm, a powerful storm. 125-mile-an-hour winds as of the 7 a.m. our time update. 130 miles an hour is what it takes for it to be a Category 4. So it will continue to move northerly and start turning northeasterly as it intensifies, and it is making a direct run at Tampa right now, looking to make landfall as a Category 3 hurricane in the Tampa area. Here locally, we are okay. We got fall-like conditions, 52 as we start the day in Joplin. Got 44 Fort Scott, 50 Iola, 48 Pittsburgh, 51 Columbus, 52 Miami, 48 in Grove as we start the day. And as we talked about allergies, we want to remind you that they're a little bit better. 5.7 out of 12 today, 5.9 out of 12 tomorrow for the pollen count. Forecast to go down as the week goes on. Unseasonably warm today, 87 for the afternoon high, and as we head into tonight, we'll be seasonably cool with an overnight low of 53 and mostly clear. We're back with more on Ian right after this. Southern Florida already feeling the impacts of Ian from the outer bands. A live look from Duval Street in Key West, Florida, where they're dealing with those outer bands as Hurricane Ian heads toward the state. Officials warning that the Category 3 storm could be, quote, something that we haven't seen in our lifetime. Ryan Young reports.
This could be the storm that we've hoped would never come to our shores.
Up and down the west coast of Florida tonight, hurricane preparations underway. It's been a century since the Tampa area of South Florida has been directly hit by a hurricane. and now Hurricane Ian could change history.
Everyone, and I mean everyone in Pinellas County, will witness some degree of impact from the storm.
Nearly 170,000 people have already been ordered to evacuate in the Tampa area alone, and schools and universities announcing closures in preparation for the storm and set up as emergency shelters.
We are looking at the possibility of having 10 to 15 foot storm surge, and clearly that would be very devastating for our community.
That's 5. Residents here taking this seriously.
Yeah, I wasn't really worried about it yesterday, but today, you start making your preparations and doing what you got to do, right? Tie everything down, secure your cars, make sure you got enough food and water at the house, and that's all you can do.
I think we're taking it pretty seriously. Up until yesterday, we were thinking it was going to hit, Panama City or something like that. But right now, I think it's real.
The Tampa area of Florida more vulnerable than other parts of Florida.
The area around Tampa Bay, there are just a lot of low-lying areas, compounded with a lot of development. So we have a very large population is built up since the last hurricane, and it's built up in low-lying areas. And so we have a lot of exposure, a lot of risk.
The Florida National Guard has activated 5,000 Florida Guardsmen, as well as 2,000 additional Guardsmen from Tennessee, Georgia, and North Carolina.
Every official here with dire warnings to prepare for the very worst.
This is going to be a storm like we have not seen in the past.
Monday, the Secretary for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services declared a public health emergency for the state of Florida ahead of Hurricane Ian. The declaration gives Medicare and Medicaid beneficiaries more flexibility in meeting their health needs in an emergency. And in Florida, we've got hurricane warnings and tropical storm warnings. We've got hurricane warnings that go from Tampa down to Fort Myers, running through Friday morning, as the hurricane itself expected to make landfall Thursday morning. And we've got tropical storm warnings for a good chunk of the Panhandle. This is the latest on Ian right now. The eye is slowly creeping off of western Cuba. 125-mile-an-hour winds, a strong Category 3, just 5 more miles an hour, and it's going to be a Category 4 hurricane, making it a major hurricane. It will intensify today as expected, and then it starts to turn northeasterly and makes a run right for Tampa, expected to make landfall again. This is our time, early Thursday morning, about 3:30 Florida time. As a Category 3 storm, and something that Tampa has not seen in 100 years, by the way. Our area, though, considerably calmer and much more seasonable for this time of year. 52 degrees in Joplin right now. We have 44 Fort Scott, 50 Lamar, 51 Carthage, and 48 in Monette. Excuse me. As we go through the rest of today, mostly sunny skies. 87 is our afternoon high. Heading into tonight, we stay mostly clear. A seasonable low of 53 degrees, and on the 7-day forecast, unfortunately, no rain in sight. 77 Wednesday, 78 Thursday. Otherwise, we are the lower to mid-80s, very unseasonably warm. Mostly clear skies. The only thing seasonable is our lows, as they hang out mostly in the upper 40s and lower 50s. We've got more right after this. All right, more on Ian, as we've been talking about, and we're going to be talking about it for a while because honestly, it's the most active part of the lower 48 right now is this hurricane. As you can see on the Skywatch storm tracker, the eye starting to slowly creep off of western Cuba as it heads into the Gulf of Mexico later today. Hurricane warnings from Tampa to Fort Myers, tropical storm warnings for most of the panhandle of Florida. Ian right now is a strong Category 3, 125-mile-an-hour winds, expected to be a Category 4 later today, which, by the way, that'll be 130-mile-an-hour winds in order to make that Category 4 strength. It will do that later today and then start to turn northeasterly, and it is making a direct run toward Tampa, expected to make landfall 2:30 in the morning Thursday our time, 3:30 Eastern time, as a Category 3 hurricane. Here locally, we are all right. We've got some partly cloudy skies in Joplin as we start the day, and some seasonable temperatures, 52 degrees with a light south breeze. That south breeze will help with us later today as we'll warm up. 47 Fort Scott, 50 Lamar, 50 Neosho, and 50 in Grove as we start the day. And as we go through today, as promised, we're going to be warm, very unseasonably warm. 87 under mostly sunny skies, as you can see. Not bad, just not the temperature it should be. Our overnight low, however, is on par with where it should be. Mostly clear tonight, dropping back down to 53 degrees. And as we look at the 7-day forecast, 77 Wednesday, 78 on Thursday. We stay clear and dry all week long, which is not what we need. We need rain, but this is the week to get outdoor work done. We stay unseasonably warm. Even Wednesday and Thursday are not where we should be. We'll be in the lower to mid 80s all the way through the weekend. And our overnight lows, though, the only thing that are fall-like, as they remain in the upper 40s and lower 50s. And then we are watching some rain chances Tuesday. We hope this increases, but it does bring temperatures down to fall-like before behind me you see Thursday we start to warm right back up again. Now, here's Tanya Bach with Consumer Watch.
That's right. Inflation has impacted just about everything, including groceries. Butter has been hit especially hard. And the Wall Street Journal reports butter prices up 24.6% this year over year in August. That's almost twice as much as the overall increase in U.S. grocery prices over the same period. Now, butter supply shortages are reportedly to blame. According to Food and Wine magazine, America's stores of butter are at their lowest levels since 2017. The butter shortage, caused by factors including labor shortages and a decline in milk production, could not come at a worse time. With the holidays approaching, we are right on the cusp of peak baking season, which means increased demand could make the butter bust even worse. Amazon is getting a big jump on the holiday shopping season. The company is rolling out what it's calling its Prime Early Access Sale, which will be similar to its annual Prime Day sale. Amazon says it will offer deals on hundreds of thousands of items to Prime members. The sale is set for October 11th and 12th for shoppers in 15 countries around the world. Other retailers are also getting a jump start on the holidays. Walmart announced last week it will start its holiday sales as early as next month. And Target says its deal days will be held October 6th through the 8th. Speaking of Target getting ready for the holidays, the retail store is looking to hire up to 100,000 people to help out during the holiday shopping season. That's just one of the moves Target is making to get a jump on the holidays. The company will also have a Deal Days event October 6th through the 8th that will feature thousands of deals. Target also says it plans to extend its popular holiday price match guarantee this year. Other retailers are also getting a jump start on the holidays. Walmart announced last week that it will start its holiday sales as early as next month. Amazon is rolling out a new event similar to its annual Prime Day sale. We'll be right back with more after this. But first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. A spooky Halloween decoration in Illinois looks like it's levitating.
Much like this young lady back here. It was created by a couple who say they were inspired by the hit Netflix series Stranger Things.
Jermon Terry asked the couple how they made it float in midair, but at least for now, they're keeping that a mystery.
The clock's ticking to finish sprucing up the final touches of Halloween decorations at this house in Plainfield.
How many do you need?
Dave Appel and his wife Aubrey go big every year.
You started when? How early?
August
1st.
Yeah.
August 1st. August 1st.
And then every single day from the moment we get home from work.
Images from years past show just how the finished product looks. But this year, there's one prop grabbing everyone's attention.
There's so many people out there who are fanatics like we are. So we wanted to make something that was the most iconic scene from the show, something maybe no one else would try and do.
The family loves the hit Netflix series Stranger Things. So when they decided to replicate a key character, Max, levitating in the air, it left folks perplexed.
The wonderment of how, or like, you know, where is it coming from? How are they doing that?
Dave and Aubrey created a quick TikTok. Now there's more than 14 million views. Everyone wants to know what's keeping Max afloat.
It's not drones, it's not helium or balloons, and we just felt like it was more fun to keep it under wraps.
The mystery is what's getting the attention.
And we didn't even think that would be the thing.
And while the family isn't ready to reveal this secret just yet, the display is gaining attention not only from neighbors.
We just saw him on TikTok, so we decided to drive through the neighborhood and check out Max floating in the air.
Is it really catching your attention in the neighborhood? Talk about it.
Yes, very much so. And we have a lot of Stranger Things fans over here behind us, so it's very exciting.
Even Netflix joined in the fun, calling the Appels their #1 fan. They're saying you're the #1 fan.
I don't know if we're number one. We're number 1 and 2. I'm gonna claim the title because you know what? We put the hours in at least.
How does this make you feel?
It makes you feel amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. It is all in your control now.
But what's more amazing, they're doing something as a family and bringing smiles or screams to so many other families.
Bye! That's what makes us want to continue doing it, is making the kids happy.
All right, if you want to save Max, all you have to do is play Kate Bush as you drive by. That music. You've watched Stranger Things, right? Okay.
But I do know the
All
song
right.
at least, so
I can't
I
talk to you
believe
now.
you.
You can't talk to
I
me.
believe you, though.
No, the music keeps her alive. That's
Okay.
how she's fighting back.
I'm familiar with the song that you were talking about, so we'll see if we can do that. And maybe after Halloween, the Apples will share their secret of how they did that, because that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's actually a lot of crazy, but it is really cool, though.
What's neat is how much their daughter looked like Max, too.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but
Mm-hmm.
very, very neat effect nonetheless. We are also watching Hurricane Ian. This is the Skywatch storm tracker right now, and you can see we've been talking. The eye of Hurricane Ian is slowly moving off to the north out of Cuba right there, and it'll head into the Gulf and intensify into a Category 4 hurricane later today. Hurricane warnings from Tampa to Fort Myers, tropical storm warnings for a good chunk of the Panhandle. Latest advisory as of 7 a.m. our time, 125-mile-an-hour winds moving north at 12. You can see a very well-defined eye, very big storm. So, I mean, the Florida Keys are already getting impacted by the outer bands of this storm, but the actual landfall and impact, as it gets into the Gulf, it turns northeasterly and makes a direct run for Tampa as a Category 3 hurricane, something Tampa has not seen in about 100 years. We got some, it almost looks like Independence Day. We got some cloud cover at 7th and Range Line building in. Partly cloudy skies, otherwise a decent start to the day. 52, maybe that is the mothership. Trevor and I thought we saw what looked like a UFO on the camera earlier this morning. Maybe that's what it is. 51 in Iola, 50 Pittsburgh, 50 Neosho, 48 in Anderson. I'm only kidding, by the way. I don't think there's any mothership in Joplin right now. Today, unseasonably warm, very unseasonably warm. We will gradually heat up to 87 for an afternoon high under mostly sunny skies. We remain mostly clear, dropping through the night, 65 at 11, 58 by 2 a.m., and we'll be 53 for our overnight low. And the 7-day forecast shows where we stay unseasonably warm. Yes, even Wednesday, Thursday in the 70s, still warmer than where we should be. We stay mostly clear, we stay dry, temperatures in the lower to mid 80s for the most part, but our lows are seasonable as they hang out in the upper 40s and lower 50s, so at least that's fall-like, but these temperatures most certainly not. There may be some rain chances by next week. We're back right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. Hurricane Ian is steaming towards the Tampa area, potentially hitting the region as a powerful Category 4 storm. Forecasters are warning of devastating floods and storm surge up to 10 feet. Ian is expected to gain strength in the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico before striking Florida, likely early Thursday morning. It was a successful mission for NASA in what sounded more like a Hollywood movie script. A spacecraft crashed into an asteroid, a test of how the Earth will defend itself if a space rock is heading directly towards our planet. It happened 7 million miles away, but the space agency still received video confirmation with a bit of a lag. And the last of the January 6th congressional hearings is set to take place Wednesday before the committee will release its final report. Some members say testimony will be presented that has not been heard before. The committee says its report will be released after the midterm elections.
We are heading for a very warm, unseasonably warm day today. Under mostly sunny skies, we'll make it up to 87. Tonight, we'll stay mostly clear. Temperatures overnight are seasonable as we'll drop back down to 53 degrees. And on the 7-day forecast, you can see where we stay unseasonably warm, but unreasonably to some as well. Even tomorrow and Thursday, that's still not where we should be. Otherwise, lower to mid 80s for highs under clear skies. Overnight lows, though, remain seasonable in the upper 40s and lower 50s.
Well, today the nation celebrates one of the unsung heroes on the dairy aisle.
I don't think that's true.
September 27th is National Chocolate Milk Day.
An Irish-born physician is credited with inventing the chocolatey beverage in the late 1680s.
According to the National Day calendar, he used coca local to Jamaica to make the creamy concoction. And he enjoyed it so much he took it back with him to England and shared it as a medicine.
Interesting. These days, most of us just enjoy chocolate milk because of its sweet and tasty appeal.
Not me. I'm not a fan of liquid chocolate. To celebrate this childhood favorite drink on Tuesday, that's today, just grab your favorite kind of milk and chocolate, whether it's syrup or powdered, and then mix it and enjoy.
You can also just, buy it pre-mixed at any store across the country. Chocolate milk is not an unsung hero. It is the hero of the dairy aisle.
I'll pass.
All right. Well, that's just more from me. Thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.
If you were